Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm Ballboy, and today we're going to be discussing 4 common advanced stats in under 5 minutes. We're going to be covering the basics, but if you wanted to learn more in detail, check out the amazing channels in the description. So without further ado, let's get started. We'll start with PER, Player Efficiency Rating. It's a stat that you've all seen. PER produces a net rating from adding score by good stats like points, and reducing score by bad stats like turnovers. PER was invented in 1995, so it's an outdated and flawed metric in today's standards, but it's a good enough stat to satisfy the Skip Baylesses of the world. Starting with the bad, it severely misrepresents a player's value by ignoring defense. The only form of defense that is taken into account are blocks and steals. There's obvious flaws when Draymond Green has a lower rating than Hassan Whiteside. Continuing with Whiteside, his PER is also insanely high because the stat converts everything to a per minute basis. So bench players like Whiteside who have good per minute stats are overrated by PER. Where this stat shines though is that it's actually a good metric to compare a player's individual seasons against each other. For example, PER accurately captures Curry's unanimous MVP season. It's also relatively accurate at rating high-end players. As you can see, 3 of last year's MVP candidates are in the top 10. Lastly, PER is cleverly designed to be a casual fan's go-to stat. The average score is 15, and typically 15 points per game is a threshold that many fans judge how good a player is. True shooting percentage effectively makes field goal percentage obsolete. The issue of field goal percentage is that it doesn't show how many of those shot attempts were threes, and as we all know, threes are better than twos. Let's pretend that Curry has only taken 3-pointers in his entire career. If he only took threes, his overall field goal percentage would be 43%, and that would be considered below average. So that's when effective field goal percentage arrived onto the scene, as effective field goal percentage values threes properly. But then it was quickly delegitimized because it didn't take into account free throws, while true shooting percentage does, and this makes it the king of shooting percentage stats. A small issue with true shooting percentage though is that it naturally favors players who take lower difficulty shots like Mikal Bridges and Joe Harris. So if there was ever a crazy stat that took into account the difficulty of a shot, like getting double teamed, or maybe something difficult like
fate of the universe on the line, or the Martians have the death beam pointed at Earth, you better hit it. I want Iguodala.
I'd be down for that. Usage rate is probably the most misinterpreted stat in the NBA. It is justifiably confused with how much percentage the ball is held from a single player compared to the rest of the team. I used to think Zion had a low usage percentage because he scored the ball so fast every time. What usage rate really calculates is how often a player ends their team's possession. The 3 scenarios would be taking a shot, free throws, or a turnover. For whatever reason though, it never calculates passing. So if a player held the ball for almost the entirety of the shot clock and passed it last second to a shooter, it's the shooter's usage rate who's going to be adjusted. It's a weird stat, but it's good to show when a player is too involved in the team's offense. Typically, players with a high usage rate will have monster numbers, but historically, their team doesn't get too far in the playoffs. In all of NBA history, it takes until the 37th highest usage rate season to win a championship, and that happened to be Michael Jordan. Offensive rating, also known as offensive efficiency, is a much better indicator than points per game of how good a team or player is at scoring. Offensive rating measures by each possession, and that's significant because not every team or player gets the same amount of possessions per game. Let me give you a random example. If you had to examine who is a better chef between two, who would you choose? Chef A, who made 100 dishes in 120 tries, or Chef B, who made 95 dishes in 100 tries? You would probably choose Chef B. Even though Chef A made more dishes, it was at the expense of being less efficient. And efficiency, not volume, is the key to winning in the NBA. We made it to the end of the video, and we were able to cover 4 common advanced stats in under 5 minutes. If you learned something, please consider supporting the channel. My future content will contain daily NBA recaps, player analysis, team analysis, as well as individual game analysis. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.